width and more depth as well. So, sorry. So yeah, so that's kind of what, that's how I do it. So let me just mix up some paint here while I get going. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, guys, just my channel and my audience in general. So, and kind of just some general, like, I guess etiquette things. So I have a lot of different content I do. So obviously I do this just hobby chat, which is just me shooting the shit, being an idiot, basically talking about whatever the fuck I want. I have the Best Overall Show, which is a variety show basically. And I have a special announcement to make regarding Best Overall Show of a certain someone returning, which I will tell you guys. And then I also have Comp Corner, which I do with Alex McDougall. That's very competitive focused. We just talk about competitive stuff. But then I have probably my favorite show on the channel, which is Politics and Plastic. And the point of Politics and Plastic is that, you know, I kind of modeled it, and this is just me being really honest. I almost model it after like something like the Joe Rogan podcast. And what I mean by that is I like to bring guests on, and I like to bring people on. And the idea is that, like, I want to figure out things about things, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. There's a lot of things that I'm not knowledgeable about. There's a lot of things that I think are important topics that don't get discussed because of the fact that they are sometimes hot topics and people don't want to wade into that. And one of the, I guess one of the like key tenets of all of the shows that I do and what I want to do on this channel is that I want to be able to, I want the guests and myself to have a really open expression of ideas and viewpoints. And even if I don't agree with them, I want people to come on and feel comfortable that they can kind of speak their mind and say whatever they want and not fear that there's going to be like backlash or repercussions because of what they said. So a really important thing for me is that honesty and integrity of the guests and myself, as far as what I think, really leads the discussion, and that when we can have these really difficult conversations about things like cheating, about things like sexism, about things like, tournaments, about things like all these kind of difficult topics that I've been talking about, or things that maybe people don't necessarily want to talk about because of the fact that they are difficult topics and they are things that there's often not a perfect answer, right? It's a messy kind of, it's a messy kind of situation. There's sometimes different opinions. Sometimes there's no real right answer. Sometimes the conversation goes in a way where at the end we kind of maybe hit an impasse and, no one's happy with the outcome. We talked about things like ELA ratings, and like there was so much controversy over that. Obviously the sexism episode that I did last week has created a lot of noise and stuff. There's obviously a pretty heated chat as well during the episode, which I have to apologize for because I didn't moderate the chat, and I've never had to moderate my chat. Because as you can see, guys, I mean, I've been streaming for 15 minutes. And there's probably like 15 messages. So my chat in general has always been fairly quiet because it's a new channel. There's not a ton of viewers. I don't have like 200 viewers. And generally the audience has been fairly like, I guess, passive or throwing in a comment question here and there. There hasn't been a ton of dialogue and engagement. So I was really caught off guard on last Thursday's episode of Politics and Plastic, when there was like some fairly heated discussion in the chat between various people in the chat. And it was brought to my attention that I should have moderators. And I was like, I'm just a small channel. I have like 400 Twitch followers and like, a few thousand, like 1,500 now on YouTube. Who's going to moderate my chat? I don't really think that there's anyone in the community at this point that has like shown that they are willing and able and interested in stepping into a role like that. And maybe that's different. Maybe I'll throw something into the Discord. So just a reminder, if you guys haven't joined the Duplicity Paint Discord, the link is down below. Make sure to check it out. But I usually announce things like the stream calendar. You can chat with me directly there, throw up questions. And anyone else that's part of the kind of my very small community is in there. And so, but one thing, and kind of where I'm going with this, guys, and this is really important. I want everyone to understand this. It is really critical to all of my shows, so that when I invite a guest on, that they feel comfortable to speak their truth and their experiences and their perspective without fear of like, I guess, like backlash or repercussions. Like that is actually really, really important to me, that anyone that comes on my show can speak the things that they've experienced and not worry that someone from the audience is gonna like go after them or call them a liar or call them like a shill or anything like that. And you know, I did hear some reports. I don't know what was said. I don't know who said it because I wasn't given that detail. But I did hear some reports from some of my guests that some people in the, I guess, audience had basically approached them and said some not so nice things about them and basically tried to, I guess, like erase their perspective or pretend that they're not legitimate or again, I wasn't told what was said, so I'm just kind of speculating here. But as a result of that, you know, one of my guests has decided not to come back, which is unfortunate. But I just want to say that that kind of behavior is completely unacceptable. I don't condone that, and I don't accept it. So if I do find out that one of my listeners has, you know, approached one of my guests and harassed them or engaged with them in a negative way, I will ban you from the channel, no questions asked. The whole point of the shows and one of my goals with shows like Politics and Plastic is to be able to have really honest, open dialogue, and for my guests not to fear like that they're going to get like attacked outside of the show for their positions. And so, you know, if you guys want to go start your own dialogue, your own conversation, and again, I'm not blaming anyone in this chat, I'm just telling you what I was told. If you guys want to go and start your own YouTube channels and whatever content where you can kind of talk about what you think, hey, God bless, all the power to you. Let me know and I'll check it out. But it's completely unacceptable for anyone on my show or anyone that follows my channel to essentially go after my guests because they maybe didn't agree with what they said. So I just wanted to get that out right out of the gates because it was really disappointing to hear that someone did that. And again, I'm not sure who it was. And that information has not been shared with me, but it was bad enough that one of the guests has decided never to come back on the show, which is a shame because I think you know, I thought they brought some really good perspective and opinions. And you know, I don't want that kind of thing to happen to any other guests moving forward. And I don't want there to be this mentality that, oh, hey, Jim's show, if you go on Jim's show and the audience doesn't agree with you, they're gonna come after you for your opinions. Like that basically is a death sentence for me because or especially for shows like Politics and Plastic, given that the whole point of the show is to talk about really difficult things. And look, I'm willing to talk about difficult things by myself. Like I had a whole episode on recasting, which I talked about myself, and I didn't bring anyone on that show because I didn't want anyone to have to I don't want to put anyone in a position where they potentially had to incriminate themselves or say something about say something that was maybe they didn't feel comfortable revealing about anything. And so I just had that conversation by myself, and there's a reason for that, right? Because I wanted to keep it, yeah, because it was just almost too hot of a topic. But to hear that there was people in the community that kind of went after some of my guests from last show, it's just really disappointing. And I don't condone that behavior, and I curse it. So please, if you guys are interested in being part of this community and wanting more cool topics to talk about and cool guests, please cool your jets. Now, if you guys have an opinion or thought, leave it in the YouTube comments, right? And then be brave. If you want to say something contrarian and rude and mean, or something where you don't agree, hey, throw it in public on the YouTube comments, and then we can have that discussion. And at least then I'll be able to kind of see who's having those opinions, and definitely make sure that my guests are not being harassed. But hearing that my guests were basically called things and basically their integrity in question, it's just totally disappointing and incredibly unacceptable to me. And especially because what it does is it puts in danger future guests. Because if as I said, if word gets out that hey, don't go on Jim's show because his audience is going to come after you. and it sucks too, guys, because I have a small audience, right? Like, look, if this was if I was like fucking Pokimane and I had, you know, 40,000 trillion followers, well, I'd expect that there's some percentage that are just douchey, and I'd imagine that like that would just like, you know, I'd imagine that kind of stuff would probably happen. But given my small audience, it's just really disappointing to hear that someone went and kind of went after one of my guests and basically called them out. Now, I don't even know if it was someone that was watching the show. I don't know if it was someone that maybe watched the episode after the fact and then found them. But either way, it's just, it sucks. So please don't do that. Yeah. Yeah. Look, we all have, and it's actually a good segue into kind of another thing. So anyway, so I just wanted to kind of talk about that, and hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from, and hopefully you guys respect that. And as I said, if I do find out that like anyone that, you know, is part of the show or watches is harassing one of my guests, I'll just ban you from the channel, ban you from the thing. And again, not that that's going to be the end of the world for you. Like, you know, it's not like I'm doing anything, but just please don't be a douche, guys. I as much as I like to have the difficult discussions, ultimately I want to have a civil conversation, and I really want to encourage the exchange of ideas and the exchange of like free dialogue, and make sure that my guests don't feel like they have to censor themselves when they come on. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, my first thing that I wanted to say. Michaelos Torkota